Okay, so I'm here today to talk about eczema girl problems. Some people call it eczema, I call it eczema, whatever. So pretty much what I'm here to talk about is the frustrations I go through as someone who suffers from chronic severe eczema. And when I say severe, I don't mean a little spot, on your body. I mean taking over all your hands and stuff eczema. So pretty much I was born with a disorder that makes me more susceptible to really severe chronic eczema than other people. And when I say chronic, I mean it's something I've been dealing with my whole life. I'm now 26. I've been dealing with it since I was a baby. I pretty much get it on all my joints. So that includes my wrists, my hands, behind my knees, in my elbows. Right now it's not as bad as normal. It's actually one of the better times. I'll actually show you. You can see close up. It's actually a lot better than in the past. But I have had it really bad to the point where it was pussing, cracking, oozing, bleeding, itching like crazy. And yes, I know that it sounds gross, but that's just the reality of the situation. It is a gross thing to have to deal with your skin busting open. There's been times where I couldn't even sleep, like it was just ridiculous. I was in constant irritation. One of the things about eczema is that it is kind of a disease that doctors don't take it as seriously because, yeah, you know what, it's not life-threatening, and there are things that are worse. I've been to so many doctors, I've tried so many creams, I've had doctors flat out tell me you're just born with it, so you just have to deal with it, and that was really sucky. But at the same time, it can be really emotionally hard to deal with, and it can make you feel very insecure. I'm very fortunate in the sense that I don't get it on my face, but there are some people who get it on their face, they get it in their hair falls out. There's people who get it all over their back so that they can't even sleep at night. And one of the things that I've had to deal with that's been most difficult about it is doctors. I literally had to beg them to find out exactly what was causing it, or just to get an allergy test done. And this was when I was about 23. So I've lived with this for 23 years and they still wouldn't want to test me, do any allergy tests. I've had 2 allergy tests done. I had one done on my back, which had, it was a patch test where they would test different chemicals and how I react to different products and like lotions and soaps and things like that. That came out all negative, and the doctor pretty much didn't even want to, talk to me about it. He's just like, okay, that's it, and kind of just shooed me out of his office. And it's very difficult to, have all your hopes and finding out what's wrong and then still not get it. And that's pretty much the life of a person who lives with severe eczema. Is you're pretty much trying to find a solution to something that there is no cure for. I also then begged for another test, which was a conventional allergy test where they test you for peanuts and strawberries and all those types of things. That was a little bit more successful. They found out that I was allergic to dust mites. So that's helped a little bit, but I'm still dealing with it every day. I've pretty much tried so many different things to get rid of it. Pretty much I've used creams, so many different creams and all sorts of things, which are really bad because what they do is they make your skin thinner and makes you more susceptible to more eczema later, or worse, infections. So I pretty much tried everything and it always just comes back. I mean, I have moments where it's worse than others, but for the most part I've been dealing with it for a long time. A lot of different solutions, and they just don't work because there isn't a cure for it. And then one of the things that I really want to talk about, because I think it's something that affects me more, it is actually people's reaction to it. I think that makes it most upsetting. And I feel like people don't really have any sense of what's appropriate to say, what's considered rude or whatever. I've had so many people come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, what's that on your hand? Or just be like, oh, what happened to your hand? And it's just so rude. I mean, if somebody has a scar on their face or acne on their face, you don't go up to them and be like, oh my gosh, what happened to your face? Because that's rude. You just don't do that. And for some reason with eczema, people seem to think you can do that when we're just as, or me personally, we're just as insecure about it as somebody who does have a scar or who does have, you know, acne or something. And I actually even had one woman tell me, she flat out said to me, she goes, "Oh, that's a shame you have that. It really takes away from your beauty." And I'm just like, what? Like, you're trying to tell me that now, something I'm already insecure about, now it actually makes me less beautiful. Thank you so much for that. And it's just really not nice. Another thing that I find so annoying and just so, not ignorant, but just not appropriate is when I'm telling somebody what it is and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, me too, I have the same thing." And then they show it to me and it's like a little tiny dot, like this big. And I'm just like, okay, no, you obviously do not suffer from what I suffer from. So please don't try and relate to me in that way. And it just sucks because I'll spend so much time choosing the right jewelry to cover it up only for someone to be like, "Oh my gosh, what's that on your hand?" And it really sucks because it means that no matter how much I try to cover it up and no matter how insecure I am about it, people still notice it anyway. And then I just pretty much feel self-conscious about it again because I know that everyone can see it, because even when I'm trying to hide it, people are still pointing it out to me. So that's just something else I wanted to talk about, just to give people an idea of how, you know, people feel when they have these things. And also, I do understand that it's not as bad as other illnesses, and which is why I don't usually complain about it. I keep it to myself. I don't, you know, be like, "Oh my gosh, I have this." You know, there are people who suffer from way worse things: cancer, chronic diseases, life-threatening diseases, you know, all these debilitations all the time. And I understand that, you know, what I have isn't as bad, but it's just one of those things where I feel like I can't help but share the fact that, yeah, you know, it is hard for me too sometimes. So at the end of the day, I hope that this video gave some of you who aren't as knowledgeable about it some more insight and education about what this is. And if you're somebody who suffers from it, I hope that I helped you to realize that you're not alone, and that, you know, there's a good amount of us also suffering from the same thing. And if you ever need to reach out or you feel alone, you don't have to feel alone, because there's people you can talk to. So anyway, that's all I have to say about that, and I just want to say have a wonderful day. Bye.